What is up, everyone? Since the last video, you saw I was working on a little boost leak on the car. So I continued doing that, but I decided it would be better for me to take the turbo off and make sure that's squared away, because sometimes when I'm working on my cars, if there's something that kind of just gets me paranoid, it just bugs me until I figure it out. And that's one thing. I wasn't sure if there was something wrong with that newly rebuilt turbo. I was worried that maybe it was oil starved before the first startup, which I don't think it was, but still, just me being paranoid, I wanted to make sure that that was okay. So while I was doing the boost leak, I said, you know what, let me just take the turbo off, take it back to the turbo shop that rebuilt it for me and machined everything and did all that stuff. And they checked it out. They said everything was okay, just as anticipated. So at least that's one thing off of my list. And now I'm just going to go back and go ahead and reinstall it on the car. And once that's done, I'm going to start doing a compression test and maybe a leak down test to try to figure out exactly what's going on, why I'm getting that really annoying white smoke out of the back of my car. So come join along. Let there be light. There we go. Alrighty. So I didn't record any of this stuff because I just wanted to get it done with. Nowadays, the sun starts to set a little bit too quick. So I mounted the turbo. I got everything fixated on the cold side because it's such a tight spot and it's such a pain in the butt. And I'm gonna go ahead and mount some of the other stuff and just make sure it's all good. This time I'm gonna make sure I'm extra careful about priming it. So I'm gonna make sure that's taken care of. But as of now, I just have to go ahead and let me see if I can get a flashlight actually. This flashlight's pretty cool. I got it from Anchor, rechargeable, sponsor us. Anyway, so if you could see over here, right where I'm shining that light, that is to the exhaust manifold. I'm just gonna go ahead and put those bolts on, put the gasket between the downpipe and the hot side of the turbo, and put those bolts on. On the bottom, I'm gonna go ahead and put the turbo drain pipe back up, along with one of the coolant lines that goes on the bottom of the turbo. And once that's taken care of, we can come on this side and go ahead and just finish everything on the intake side over here. It's kind of funny, I have used the world's largest zip ties over here today. I used 3 of these bad boys, and that's just because I wanted to make sure that nothing was going to interfere with my my shifter cables. I don't want anything to be impeding my shifts inside the cab. So I kind of just zip tied those things out of the way. I know it's super ghetto, but I don't care at this point. So I'm gonna go ahead and put all these vacuum lines back on, make sure they're all squared away, some of these clamps over here, and then take it from there. Thank you, Herbert, for this. This has been invaluable for me. Appreciate you. More zip ties. And here we got the underside of the turbo. I'm gonna go ahead and fasten these nuts over here in the downpipe. Same thing with the exhaust manifold. And then I'm gonna go ahead and tighten up this drain line as well as the coolant line right next to it. And then we'll be done from the bottom side. This is why you need ratcheting wrenches. I definitely need a set. Definitely need a set. Alright, so I'm gonna use this small zip tie as a pointer. So we got the oil drain line right over here. That's hooked up to the turbo as well as the block. And the gasket is in. Now this line over here is the coolant. We got that one hooked up. We have the, I don't know if you could see it, the exhaust manifold bolts and the studs all hooked up with the gasket in between, whether you need that or not. And then as well, we have the bolts for the 3-inch downpipe. So everything from the bottom now is good to go. Let's go back to the top. All right, same thing going on over here. We got the bolts over here all buttoned down. Now over here we have the, I don't know if you could see it, that is going to be for the oil feed line. And then here we got a coolant for the turbo. So these lines over here, I'm just going to leave them off for now because obviously it's late and I can't get the Volvo coolant that this car requires, so I'm just going to wait until tomorrow. That way I can put in some oil at least, and maybe some coolant, even though it's probably not really necessary, but we definitely need oil for lubrication. And on the driver's side, I got everything ready to go for tomorrow. Just have to put the air filter back on, the MAF sensor, and everything else is all buttoned up. So yep, that's it for now, and I'll check in with you in the next video. Take care, guys.